First thing you're probably asking yourself is, who is this guy and why do I care about his marathon prep series? Well, let me put your mind at ease. Hi, I'm Christian, and this is me.
I didn't know love till you found me.
And this is also me. And just like you, there's parts of me that I don't necessarily love all the time. You know, the flawed parts. We're going to clean that up later. I'm doing my best to continue to grow into the parts of me that I like best and chip away at the parts of myself that I don't. And running has been a really big part of that for the last 20 months or so. I spent most of the last year running ultra marathons, and now I want to do something that I've never done before. Race my first marathon. But Christian, didn't you do things a little backwards if you've never raced a marathon and you ran ultra marathons? Yes, but don't sass me. There's no one right way to do anything as long as you're doing something that you care about. So let's go run and we'll get into what the rest of this sub 3 hour marathon prep series is going to look like. And then I got to clean my office. It's looking a little rough in here. Oh, it's cold out here. Hopefully the wind's not too bad. If it is, then I'll just re-record this when I get back. Okay, it is very cold and windy basically everywhere in my neighborhood, so we're just gonna do this here very quickly and then I'll go back out and finish the run. Yeah, I paused my watch. Okay, so I think the most important question that we need to answer next is it even feasible for me to run a sub 3 hour marathon? And I say that because I don't want someone to watch this series if I'm gonna drop the ball and run a 6 hour marathon. But I think I have a history of strong enough running that that's not gonna happen. I ran every ultra distance last year up to 100 miles, completing a 100 miler. So I have the durability, and now it's about just getting that top end fitness and, you know, putting more speed in there. In 12 weeks, I do think that is very doable. Mostly because, how do I explain this concisely? My running season pretty much ended in November of last year, and then I took 3 weeks of no running at all, and now I'm in my second week of kind of getting some running back, building that base fitness back, and my paces are coming along just fine. I'm having no problems with my legs, nothing that seems like it might get injured. So as long as I keep up with my recovery really well, I think I'll be starting from a very good spot, kind of by the end of this week, or maybe the end of next week at the latest, before I can really push back into at least some steady state work, but definitely in another week after that, like some VO2 max stuff. And that's really what I need. I have a solid, easy running pace, so now I just need to push that top end fitness a little bit further. In my 100 miler in October, I think I hit the marathon mark at around 4 hours, somewhere between like 4 hours and like 4 hours and 15 minutes, I think. And that was with another 75 miles to run, and that was in the mountains of West Virginia. So can I knock an hour off of that running on a really flat course? I think with only 180-degree turn, I think it's very doable. Is it gonna be hard? Absolutely. There's nothing easy about marathons. I don't care what anyone in the ultra running community says. If you're pushing yourself as hard as you can, just to be at zero, have nothing left in the tank by the end of the race, every distance is hard. I don't care what distance you're running. We accept all paces here because, you know, not that long ago, my easy pace was like 13 minutes per mile. Now I'm down in like the mid 8s, low 8s when the weather's nice. So everyone who wants to progress can progress. And I know I'm going on a tangent here, but I just want to say up front, every distance is hard if you're pushing yourself. That is my philosophy about running. I don't think that's ever going to change because I have plenty of days where even an easy run feels miserable because I'm just so beat, and you're putting so much, fatigue on your body over a long period of time. You have that consistent load. So sorry for the rant, but yes, I do think running sub 3 is possible. I also do think I will still be stretching myself. I don't think it's going to be like a gimme, like I'm definitely going to go out there and do it. I think I'm going to have to push myself in this training block. I'm going to have to push myself on race day, but that's what makes it fun, is the possibility that it might not work out and just seeing where that limit is at. So I'm going to go finish my run now. I have give or take about another half hour. And after that, I think I have one more important question that we need to address before we close things out for this week. All right, I'll see you back there. Go. She wanted to watch Puffin Rock and I didn't, so we're watching Puffin Rock. Well, it is Sunday, January 4th. I didn't record my run yesterday, mostly just because I ate way too much sushi and my stomach hurt. So I was kind of worried that I was going to throw up on the run. But here's the stats for that run. Today is supposed to be a rest day, but my coach said if I'm feeling good, I can push it and, no, well, not push it, but like throw another easy run in. I usually run 6 days a week, but right now I'm scheduled for 5 just as we rebuild the base. And I got a pretty rough night of sleep. So on the fence about whether or not we're running today, but I definitely need to do some strength training at the very least. I was actually supposed to do it yesterday, but my wife and I were finishing the season finale of this show. That way we could start on the next season that came out. If you've ever watched Silo, super depressing show, shot beautifully, a little bit dark. Very depressing. Let's have some food, and I would love to squeeze in both a leg workout and a run if there's time. If there's only time for one, kind of leaning in favor of the strength training. I think that people get strength training kind of backwards sometimes, where the more they run, the less they do strength training. But from experience and my physical therapist, the more you run, the more you have to really dedicate yourself to doing strength training, because if you don't, you're gonna get injured, like I have multiple times in the past from, not learning my lesson. So, all right, I'm gonna finish cooking breakfast. Well, it is now Sunday, and I apologize that my lighting is probably atrocious in here, but I'll make this quick. You brought my whale back? Okay. Can I have my whale? Thank you. Are you gonna close this? Okay, thank you. I usually keep this whale on my shelf behind me, and my daughter wanted to play with it, so she brought my whale back. So the question that I wanted to answer before we close this video out is, why am I even attempting a sub 3 hour marathon? For starters, it's something that's very hard, and obviously increasingly more people do it now because the Boston qualifying times have come down, and that's not why I'm running this. But what is it about sub 3 hours that is really appealing and is worth working for? And I think the big thing for me, even though I primarily run ultras, is I've never really felt like a runner. And I know that sounds weird. It's almost like an oxymoron, like training for a sub 3 hour marathon, but not feeling like a runner at all. And I think it comes back to when I started running in 2019, I just did it because I was on my last deployment in the Navy and I needed something to occupy my time. And then obviously COVID hit, and that was a nightmare for everyone. And I kind of went in and out of this like love-hate relationship with running, because all the races that I wanted to do when I first started running kept getting canceled. So I've really only consistently been running again since May of 2024. And I know for a lot of people, a sub 3 hour marathon is something they work like years and years and years at. And that's why it feels like a long shot for me to hit it. But looking at my paces and the fitness I've built over the past year, I treated running like it was my job last year. I asked myself at the beginning of the year, what if I just trained like I was a professional runner? Like, what can I accomplish? And part of me regrets not documenting more of that. So that's why I'm doing this now. But I think the reason for the sub 3 hour marathon is that I had some good finishes last year with my ultra races and some that were a little bit lackluster. And part of me still doesn't really identify as a runner. But I think sub 3 hours, or at least even striving for sub 3 hours and coming moderately close to it, is one of those things that's kind of undeniable. It is across the board, everyone who runs understands what that means. And having this goalpost to reach for that is like a standard That if I just say, you know, I'm a 305 marathoner or I'm a 259 marathoner, like people know inherently what that means. Like I don't have to make this argument for myself that I am a runner. The reality of the situation is though that if anyone were to tell me they had run any ultra marathon, I automatically consider them a runner. It's just I don't extend myself that same luxury for some reason, that same like amount of grace. And I do this with pretty much everything. And as time goes on, if you stick around, you will see that that is a common theme in my life. But for me, it is one of those things that, you know, if I come close to a sub 3 hour marathon, then it's just undeniable. And I don't even know why it matters to me so much, but I think it would be easier for this is going to sound ridiculous. I feel like I know this is going to sound ridiculous when it comes out of my mouth. It would be easier for me to train for and achieve a sub 3 hour marathon than it would be to fix like the internal void that I have when it comes to like identity about this kind of stuff. I feel like that sounds crazy and I recognize that, but this has been something I've been dealing with for like the past 10 years. And I've just recognized it. It is like a feature, not a bug of my system and how I view things. So I might as well just go all in and commit to it. And I'm sure after I achieve or come close to the sub 3 hour marathon, I'll be like, yeah, but I'm not a 250 marathoner. But that's the fun of running is there's always somewhere else to go. You can go faster, you can go further, running ultras, you can run mountain ultras, you can qualify for Boston. There's always something that you can do to push your boundaries and push your limits further. So I guess we'll circle back and see if this whole identity crisis gets fixed after the marathon. But until then, it's time to train. So I am going to hopefully clean my office. We will see. But hopefully the next video doesn't start with me saying I need to clean my office. But I promise, regardless of how things turn out, if you want to come along for the ride, it's going to be a good time. All right, just decided to suck it up and go run. 7.11 miles, 9:20 pace. Nice little recovery run to finish out the week. That is it. That is the end of the running week. Just under 6 hours of time on feet, 40 miles, give or take. Really didn't want to do that, but I'm glad I did. I feel much better now. And I think I still have it in me to go hit that leg workout at the gym later. So I will see you next week. And yeah. I have no good sign off for these, so Soprano style.